Alright, so basically, when prepping these pork tenderloins, what we want to do is expose this silver skin right here. Take this off and try to leave as much meat on it as possible, because this little piece right here will make it like bubble gum. It'll be like chewing shoe leather. So if you ever get a steak and it's really tough, or your jaws get tired from chewing, it's usually because of the silver skin. So as I got my knife up in here, I want to get as close to the top as I can, and all I'm doing is just whittling it back and forth. I'm going to take the other side, and the trick is trying to get it right at a good angle so you can go right into it. Now typically what we would do is cut off this chain right here and right here, and that gives us one nice long continuous piece. But what we're going to do for our purpose is we're just going to leave it right on there. Make sure that everybody gets a nice portion size. So what I want to go ahead and do at this point is I want to get my first layer of seasoning on there so that it'll start to absorb from the natural juices of the pork tenderloin. Nothing fancy, just a little salt, kosher salt. You'd be amazed at how much salt and pepper can just improve the quality of just about whatever you're cooking. And I don't like the table pepper. I like more of a restaurant grind that you can see, because you can do more with it. That and its appearance also. You want to be able to see what you're eating. You want to be able to see that seasoning. Then we're going to go over here to some garlic. Next I have some dry thyme. Later we're going to hit it with some fresh thyme. I love thyme. Thyme gives you that earthy taste. Make sure everything is nice and coated. Last but definitely not least, a little sage. And it's going to blend well with the rest of the ingredients that we are going to prepare with this. We're going to have a nice apple salsa, some caramelized apples. It's going to be our take of pork chops and applesauce, Detroit flavor style. When I say flavor, and I'm talking just over the top, great flavor, hence the name of our program, Detroit flavor. You will see some things today that's going to blow you away. More than just my arrogance. There we go. Now we're going to let this sit for a few minutes, let it rest. We're going to come back. We're going to hit it with these fresh herbs. After they get nice and chopped, we're going to let it rest in the refrigerator for a little while. This is a cider reduction. We're going to cook all the water out with the cinnamon sticks. We're going to hit it with a little honey. Let that reduce down. Hit it with a little Jack Daniels whiskey. And we're going to use that to baste our pork tenderloin. So you'll see it in a couple of seconds. So I got some brown sugar going on top of these beautiful red strawberries. And what we're going to do is the brown sugar is going to dissolve from the natural juices of the strawberries, which in turn will be for our wonderful, wonderful, simply flavorful dessert. And we just want to get a lot of sugar. Don't worry about if it's spread evenly, because the only thing we're going to do is we're just going to mix it up. You can see already the sugar is starting to dissolve, which is perfect. And then we're going to do you one better. I'm going to macerate these in some whiskey. So we got some honey whiskey. And macerating is different from marinating. Macerating is pretty much, we just want it to kind of sit on top, just so you get the flavor of both. Fortunately, we don't have any underage kids around. So now we got that good honey whiskey with the brown sugar from the strawberries. Oh my. I mean, oh my. So we have all of our prep for the hot meal. That's a given. A lot of times people forget all about the end, which is a dessert. So on the back burner, I have a poaching liquid that I'm going to take these nice, beautiful apples that we got from our friends at the Franklin Cider Mill. And what I basically did was made a simple syrup of brown sugar, water, and cinnamon sticks. So I found a cranberry wine, and what we're going to do is just add it on. Good poaching liquid, it should ever come to a boil. We want it at about a good 190 degrees. While that's heating up, I'm gonna go ahead and peel the apples. Now there's a trick to this. The trick is, start at the bottom. We want one nice continuous peel, presentation wise. And then what we want to do is we want to cut the bottom off. And the reason we want to do that is so that after we get through poaching it, it'll just sit right in the pot. I mean, it's fall time in Michigan. No better season than the fall in Michigan. And this meal that we're making exemplifies fall in Michigan. One of the purposes of our show, you don't necessarily have to be a chef to cook like one. And we're going to dispel a lot of myths and rumors about cooking and traditional cooking, and basically we're going to give you a restaurant style meal right here in your home. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention is the reason why we use the the cranberry wine or any type of red wine is because you have that off balance of the wine, then you got the nice color of it. So when those apples get through poaching, what you'll see is that apple turn like a nice deep pink color, which will offset the sauteed apples that we're going to also do later. One of the other parts of our great fall meal is we got these nice purple potatoes. Something that you don't find too often. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to roast these potatoes. We got the red. These are mostly called creamer potatoes because they're going to be kind of mealy. But what we're going to do is we're going to cook them, season them. It also gives a really great color contrast to the plate. So we got our olive oil. We always want to put the oil on first so that our herbs have something to adhere to. Of course, our salt and pepper. Little garlic never hurt anybody. Then we got some onion. Some dry thyme. What the heck, let's put some fresh rosemary in there too. One of the great things about potatoes is that they will take on just about any flavor that you add to it. And secretly, that's what makes a good potato. What you season it with. Rosemary being the strong herb that it is, we don't need that much of it. Here's another tip for you grillers at home. Rosemary. Now, if you save the stem to the rosemary, nothing will happen to it. It's a piece of wood. It'll just get dry. And what you want to do is just save all your rosemary stems. When you get ready to barbecue, instead of using wood chips, use the rosemary sticks. That smell and aroma and that flavor from the rosemary will come out, give you a whole different taste to your wood. Now, you can add it with regular wood chips if you like, but you can add it on top of it and you'll still get that same flavor from the rosemary. Something you can't find in a grocery store. So when chopping fresh herbs, you want to mince them. Now as you see, this is real time. Why? Because we Detroit flavor. This is what we do. And the only thing we're doing is we're just going to toss them around. Make sure we get a nice even coat. Then I'm ready to go in the oven. Alright, so we want to disperse these kind of evenly. And since we went through all the trouble of chopping these herbs and seasoning them, we want to get that oil onto the potato. Like I said, now we're ready to go in the oven. Now we're ready to move on to our vegetable. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a different way to cut them and present them. So first we're going to start with a red pepper. We want to cut that bottom off, cut the top off, cast it to the side. So basically I just took one cut right down here. And now what I'm going to do is I want to get as much of the seeds out as possible in one fell swoop. And all of our products are local, easy to find. These aren't the peppers from our special farmer in some farm in some land on top of the hilltops of some country. I don't have a best friend that's a farmer. No. Local grocery store. And what I'm doing now is I'm taking the inside skin off the pepper, because it's going to make for a better looking part of the vegetable. Granted, my knife is a little bit more expensive than the average, but then again, you get what you pay for. So if you take the smooth side, it's going to be always harder to cut on the smooth side. So I want the rough side so that the knife will go right through it. So I'm also using the same bowl because I still want to capture some of those herbs, some of the oil. That's just one part. So I got half an onion. It's already been peeled, sliced. But nobody likes a big hunk of onion in their food. So I'm just going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut this into julienne strips real time. Okay, that was just me showing off. Now I have a piece of zucchini. I'm going to cut that in half. Here's where it gets interesting. I'm going to cut these seeds out. And that's going to keep our squash from getting soggy. I'm just going to cut that on the bias, on a slant. You'll take notice, everything is about the same size. We want it the same size because it's going to all cook at the same speed. Every cut has a specific size and dimension. What they fail to tell you on most TV shows is what that size and dimension is. So we're doing the same thing with the squash. And take them seeds out. Here's the other thing they don't tell you in most cooking shows. What is saute? Sauteing means high heat, little fat. Fat being the oil, the grease, the butter, whatever you choose to use. So we're going to need a hot skillet, just a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, call it a day. Now we're going to put some of this nice fresh thyme in those vegetables. Why not use fresh herbs in vegetables? It's just like anything else. Once again, we're going to take the same thing, toss it around in that same bowl to catch some of that rosemary and some of the different herbs and seasonings. And look at that. Nice, colorful, flavorful veg. So we got our starch in the oven cooking. We got our veg right here. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna prep our herbs to go on that nice pork tenderloin. More thyme, more thyme. And some sage. Same thing with the rosemary. We go straight down. Now this one is part of a stem. It's not the actual wood, so we don't need to save that. So now we chop. This is Detroit flavor. Real cooks, real food, real flavor. There we go. Nice minced, chopped rosemary, sage, and thyme. Most of the time you can get this stuff in one pack in your local grocery store. Not grown on the Himalaya mountains by some monk and a virgin nun with breast milk and sheepskin and all that other type of stuff. Not making fun of anybody, just saying. Now we're ready for our pork. Alright, so we got our nice chilled pork tenderloin. And I'm gonna hit it with some of these beautifully cut fresh herbs. We don't need a lot. There we go. I want to make sure I get these ends because a lot of times that's the first slice and it's the part that gets the most neglect. It shouldn't be you have to wait till you get to the center of it to enjoy all the seasoning and the flavor. And you can do this with a pork loin versus a pork tenderloin. Now we are ready to go into the pan. Once again, high heat, a little bit of fat. Just enough to coat the bottom. So there's three sides to a pork loin or pork tenderloin. We got the first side laying down flat. We got the second side. Think of it as like a triangle. We want to get it just nice and brown. And one of the reasons we are searing it, because basically we are searing in all of the juices. All of the juices. Beautiful. I mean, I should actually consider becoming a chef when I grow up. Because this is just, I mean, this, oh. Y'all ain't ready. So here's a different twist that we're gonna do. I got this lovely poaching liquid sitting on the back of the stove that I've poached our apple in. Now it's comprised of cranberry wine, brown sugar, and cinnamon. We got our reduction going on the back. We're going to increase the heat on that because we are just about at that point. You can see where we started off at the top, and now it's pretty much a syrup. And now we go right into the oven. So we took 3 cups of cider and reduced that down. Now I'm going to carefully turn this heat down and add about 1/4 cup of Jack Daniels. And I say carefully because we got a gas stove alcohol, flame, do the math. I'm gonna add some real honey. Real honey. We're gonna get that right in there. Now, one more. That's something that I like to do. I'm gonna hit this with some cold butter. And that butter will make it nice and smooth. Our glaze is done. But unlike other people and other shows, I'm not going to say anything. We taste our stuff. Oh my Lord. Yeah. I would go ahead and lick the spoon. I don't want y'all to think, differently of me. But I don't care. So we pulled our pork tenderloin out. Now comes the glaze. This right here. But we got some people here that's gonna try it. So you ain't gotta take my word for it. Once again, Detroit flavor. Real people, real food. And we're gonna cook this pork tenderloin to a nice medium. Contrary to popular belief, you can eat pork at medium. We're gonna check on our potatoes, and they're just looking oh so yummy. Oh so yummy. Now we wait. Alright, so we got our beautiful pork tenderloin just basting and cooking away. We already pulled our potato medley out. It's sitting here kind of cooling down. Next we're going to go on to our fresh vegetables. Once again, we're letting our skillet get hot. We're going to add just a little olive oil. And we want just enough to coat it. And here's a trick to adding fresh garlic. If the skillet is too hot, the garlic will burn. So now we got our garlic sauteing away. And as soon as it turns a little bit brown, we're going to add our fresh veg. Not as hot as I wanted it, but it's close enough. Like I said, real food. Detroit flavor. Of course, we got to season it. Little bit of salt. Little bit of pepper. Little garlic. And leftover fresh herbs. Now all we gotta do, here's where it's about to get interesting. Fresh butter. Just like that. That butter will be our seasoning. And what will it do? Add more flavor. We want them firm, yet cooked. Nothing worse than a soggy vegetable. Actually, nothing worse than anything soggy, except for cereal. A couple reasons why I put it on a plate. Because the first thing people are thinking is going to get cold. The reason we put it on the plate, because here in modern day technology, we have microwaves. So as you see, it's nice and hot. As it starts to cool down, if we needed to, we can pop it in the microwave for a couple seconds, bring it back to life. And now for the main dish. So that glaze we made it a nice pan sauce. Now for those of you who are health conscious, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna add more butter to this pan sauce. We're gonna set it to another pan, let it rest. Yeah. Yeah. Now this is gonna go right on top of our pork. But then I got like a very, very special apple and pepper relish. That's gonna go right along with this. See, my glaze solidified a little bit, which is perfect, because now what we'll do is we'll spread that all along here. All along. It's just so pretty. It's pretty. So pretty. And I think we want to use all of this glaze. Once again, we took about 3 cups of apple cider, cooked that right on down till it was maybe a 1/4 cup. And we hit it with a cup of Jack Daniels, added some fresh honey and butter. That is just simply gorgeous, just beautiful. And now we dance. I'm using my nice slicer right here. We let our pork rest. And the reason we want it to rest so it'll stay tender and all the juices won't run out. And we're just gonna set that right there. Let us not forget our good pan gravy. It's more like a jus. Now we could have took the time and thickened this and tightened it up with a little cornstarch, but I like moisture. And here's that apple salsa that I was explaining earlier. Once again, we got this from some of our friends at the Franklin Cider Mill. And put just a dab on there. It's actual apple Riesling pepper salsa. And that, my friends, is it. Wait till you see the dessert. We only halfway through. Only halfway through. Because I want it to be pretty. So there you have it. Detroit flavor. Pork tenderloin with a cider reduction. A medley of potatoes along with some fresh veg. It really gets no better. Alright, so we got our nice chilled poached apple. And this is kind of what the color I was looking for. So we're going to take this right on off. And give us some nice I'm still impressed. Like I said, real food, real life situations, Detroit flavor style. Because to finish a good meal, you gotta have a nice finish. And you can see the nice color from the wine, how it permeated through the apple. I am a little bit of a perfectionist. That's the arrogant chef in me. So I want to make sure that your food and my food looks good as well as tastes good. And there you have it. We have our macerated berries with Jack Daniels, brown sugar. Our caramel apples, just some fresh, nice sliced apples, sauteed in butter, brown sugar, again with the whiskey, and then our poached apple. So we're going to let our gracious host try this. And once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to inbox me on Detroit Flavor on Facebook. Y'all be easy.